What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the #1 theory podcast on Westworld. I'm Jerome.
I'm Nick.
And today we're doing Theory Time with Pleeka.
And this is where I'm going to jump in and tell you my off-the-wall crazy theory.
Before we get into the theories we picked up off Reddit and stuff, I wanted to read some comments we got on the last Theory Time with Pleeka. Jeffrey Walker commented that, "Am I the only one who keeps thinking that on first watch the scene where Bernard tells Charlotte through the glass where the unit is, that his first words, or the last words he said was Ford?" And then he says, like, upon thinking about that, that's all he can think of and all that. I rewatched the scene, and it's just because he says it's in Sector 14, Zone 4.
Oh.
So I can see where you were thinking that, but he just says 4. When I rewatched it too while you were at the store getting batteries, and I was like, oh shit, he does say Ford. And then I was like, oh wait, he says Zone 4. So then I kept watching it, and he does say that. But I was like, all right, well at least I checked up on it instead of telling the guy, no, I think it's this. 'Cause I was pretty sure it was just Zone 4, but I thought I'd double check.
Yeah, I don't even really remember that specifically. I remember him talking and stuff.
To Charlotte, yeah. So the next comment we got is from DVS Tokyo, and he says that the man in white theory equals Logan is not dead and is related to the Ghost Nation, and it's like the end of the show is going to be like man in white versus man in black.
That was before last episode, right?
Yeah, because this is from last week's Theory Time with Pleeka.
Yeah, so like
I mean, last week's Theory Time with Pleeka, we said that he's just there. We didn't know what was going to happen with him yet.
I mean, it'd be cool to see Logan come back, but obviously he's not in charge of Ghost Nation.
Yeah, well, he just said he's related to them. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, we would have saw him maybe last episode if he was in Ghost Nation whatsoever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I still kind of think that Logan's alive somehow.
I don't.
I feel like he was lying, but at the same time, he did go a little nuts in the end, so I can kind of see it leading to there.
Yeah. I think we're going to see Logan again, but I think it's going to be in a flashback.
You think we only see him in flashbacks?
Yeah.
I could see it. Like, he could be at that party with the Man in Black's wife.
Yeah.
Unless he's killed himself at that point. I may not really kill himself. He overdosed on heroin, but...
Yeah.
So this first theory I want to get into, this is a bit of a crazy one. It's that Ford did not upload his consciousness into the Cradle by the end of Season 1. You know, we saw those scenes with Bernard and all that. He did that a long time ago. And all of Season 1, there were basically 2 Fords. And it goes, so Ford uploaded himself into the Cradle a long time ago, and which is why he has so much info on the park and like what people are doing and all stuff. He could control things with his mind. He could terraform the park. That's basically how people are getting that, which I can kind of see you thinking that, because that kind of makes sense, because it was weird how he could do that. Like, Maeve can do that too now, and she's a host. And it says...
Wait, Maeve's a host?
Sorry, spoilers. And it also says, so this is what I found interesting about the theory, is that Cradle Ford was the one that was coding and controlling Maeve in Season 1. And then normal Ford was doing Delores. So they were both kind of had their little people that they were doing shit with.
That's pretty
and
elaborate.
then like they I guess had, you know, little Ford meetings and you know, like, okay, you're going to die and then we'll become one and all this shit, and then we'll go into Bernard and, you know, what we see now. But
if that was happening, shouldn't they have showed us that Season 1?
Well, that'll be revealed this season if it... No, I don't know. I don't think this theory is true.
No, I don't.
It's pretty crazy, and there's really been nothing to hint at it whatsoever.
But I do...
But I find it very interesting. Like, that'd be something that I could see the show doing.
Yeah, no, I kind of like that. Him uploading, it would make sense that why he can control everything like that. But but then again, Maeve didn't have to control stuff. Although she
is connected to the mesh network, which would explain why she could do it.
She can just control the mesh
network. Yeah,
or mesh network, whatever, however you want to say.
Yeah, whatever. Tomato.
Yeah.
Mesh network.
But like, do you think that she can control it because they've turned up all her like stats, and then so she's just configure that out?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the way I always.
That's what I assume too.
Yeah.
But I found that theory very interesting. If I just found it on Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I just don't...
I feel like there's not enough episodes left, and there hasn't been any hints for that to be revealed.
Yeah.
Unless
that's
gonna be like...
Maybe next week's
that'd be like a whole episode type thing
5-hour episode about Ford.
So this next one that I got, pretty much the rest of these I got here until we get to Hess's theory and the Bernard Loop theory is all Man in Black, which I forget the guy's name. I'll put him up on the screen. Some guy, I put a thing on Reddit, and some guy said that he wanted us to talk about Man in Black being a host.
Oh, yeah.
So I wrote down some things with it. I'll tell you, I watched 4 videos. Not a single person can tell me proof why the Man in Black's a host. They're all just like, oh, well, there's that red ball. Because, no one's put out videos really about it since the red ball was proven to be Ford.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of there's another host out there, so, it's got to be him. And, he's a host. No one says why. They just say, there's no proof. There's just random theories. So, that's... Because Hess on Random Ramblings, he believes that the Man in Black is a host.
He does believe it,
but he also has not told me a single shred of proof. And Hess, if you comment down below, he fucking got a hat, I swear, because that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, no. Hess believes he's a host, but Hess has no proof. He can't elaborate on it.
Which is I watched 4 videos, and not a single person could give me any proof that he was a host.
If I remember correctly, when he reached into his trunk of clothes, which was just a trunk with clothes in it.
Yeah.
He called it a treasure chest.
Hess did, yeah.
Yeah, and
I did...
Obviously, Hess has never been a pirate.
I did read online that when he puts on his hat, they play the same tune that they play for Maeve and Delores when they wake up, when they're starting to wake up as hosts.
Oh, really?
But, I think that's just him he's the Man in Black. You know what I mean? I don't think that's he's starting his loop. Because, he didn't put on that hat ever before.
See, I thought they played the music of the people arriving in the train, and that was him. Okay, now this is his game because now the game's meant for him.
Yeah, that's when I didn't go back and watch that. I just read that. I
just remember that
is.
8 episodes ago. That's off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I could be completely fucking wrong, but I don't think he's a host. I haven't thought he's a host. I think that would be stupid. I think it would take away from season 1.
Yeah, I do too. I think that take away from a big part of season 1, which was him becoming the Man in Black.
I also,
which I do have. I have a spin on that theory later on.
I also think he's gonna die this season.
Yeah, I do think he's.
And I don't think he's gonna be in in season 3.
I think if anyone's in episode 3, we'll see flashbacks of William doing some secret Delos shit.
Season 3. I said episode.
Oh,
and then you followed
my
me.
bad. Yeah, but yeah, I think he'll be in season. I think William might be in season 3. I don't think the Man in Black will be.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But it just really depends. So this theory is that the Man in Black is a failsafe built by Delos to prevent hosts from waking up. Which, if that's true, he's doing a real shitty job.
Yeah.
He should get fired. But so the proof for this is he always goes and kills Maeve and she's waking up. He always goes and kills Delores, which I think we really only saw that once. Yeah. And then Ketchida wants Man in Black to suffer, and they said that they have opposite desires. The Man in Black's there to kill everybody, and Akechida's there always to save hosts and all this shit. I don't believe that, but that's because I don't believe the Man in Black's a host. I think I can see where they're going with this. That he's destroying everybody that wakes up. He's had an encounter with.
He just didn't know about.
But that's kind of most people in Westworld at this point now.
Yeah.
So
that's a little far-fetched.
Yeah, and then the next one I got about the Man in Black being a host is that the Man in Black is not a host, but William's consciousness has been saved by Delos, and at the end of this season, the Man in Black and William are going to meet.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
That would be
if we get to the finale and they walk into a room and it's White Hat William and then the Man in Black, they're chit-chatting together.
The only problem with
that'd be nuts.
The only problem with that is he was White Hat William in the beginning of season 1.
Yeah, so it would depend on when they took his blood and or when they got his consciousness and how they formed him to be.
Yeah, because he was already turning when he's buying the park.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that if this is true, they would do it from when he entered the park, which was Nice Guy William.
Yeah, but think about it though. In reality, he wouldn't. He's already changed by the time he would think it's a good idea.
I guess, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he'd still be different. He'd still be pretty close to the Man in Black, just younger.
Or becoming him, yeah. Because we didn't really get to see him become the Man in Black last season, but we got to he put on the hat.
I think that would be a good idea for the creators of the show if they wanted to keep that character. Because say you kill the Man in Black this finale, and then you make William a host, then you keep William on the show for good, basically, until you want to kill that character off.
Yeah,
So I can see it being a good idea. I just don't see him being a host. That would be a cool twist if he walks in the room and we're like, what the fuck? Because then Hess would probably be like, he's not the Man in Black. And it would confuse everybody. But
yeah,
like it'd be
that-
very neat, but
that-
I don't see that happening.
I just don't. There's a lot of things that it makes me wonder if the showrunners thought that people would think the Man in Black is a host.
Yeah,
Because
well,
I don't think they would. Because there's
Mhm.
been little points that we like. What was the thing we watched yesterday with
It was that-
Clementine?
It was that I don't know how to say it. It's like L video.
L
whatever.
magazine.
L magazine, yeah. And it was Clementine reading theories on Westworld season 2, and they filmed all these interviews. You'd assume before the season came out because a couple of these came out before season 2 aired.
So the question was, or the theory was that they had a
Yeah,
that
Delores and William had a baby.
and she goes, "That'd be weird, a robot and a human having a baby."
Westworld theory. The weapon Delores is referring to is the fact that she's pregnant with probably William's baby. Okay, let that sink in, humanity. If only that was possible. Can you imagine a human and a robot baby? That would be so creepy.
Yeah,
And we're like,
and because it's like,
oh, she just called him human.
and what I texted this to Hess, and he says it means nothing, but I think it does mean a little bit something. Is
I mean,
they filmed these, what I'm assuming before season 2 aired, so they had no idea that this theory was even going to be out there.
well, I mean, it at least means that the actress that plays Clementine thinks the Man in Black's a human.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it would depend on when he
Yeah,
had
when
sex.
yeah,
and,
you could
like,
get into all that, but like, in her mind, she wasn't thinking like, oh well, William in season 1 is a human, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because the kid would be 30 years old with
Yeah.
present time.
And then
So-
you get in there, Charlie,
and then they
Charlie
named it
territory.
Emily, and then it got attacked by a tiger.
And now it's a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those little interviews that have come out, I think have proven more to me that the Man in Black is human. And I feel like people, it's just like how we are though. Like we see him get shot 4 times, and we're like, okay, he got shot. And then other people online are like, he's a host because he's surviving that. Even though we saw Clementine get shot 3 times and she's dead now.
Yeah, I don't
But-
understand the people that say he got shot.
But then like they see those interviews and they're like, oh well, that means nothing because that's not in the show.
Yeah.
So like they discounted things and we discounted things to
oh,
favor
for
us.
sure. That, yeah.
But
But
I still think we're in the right. I think this season ends with them not confirming or denying that the Man in Black is a host because they didn't think they needed to.
yeah, I agree.
I think they'll have no idea, and I think this theory will probably continue until they kill the character off.
But I do think he's gonna die at the end.
Yeah, I think season 3 has no Ford and no
Chevys.
no Ford, no Hans. No, it has no Ford and it has no Man in Black in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I feel like they're like season 1 wrapped up all of Ford. Like I'm surprised he's even in this season, to be honest.
Yeah, I
and
didn't think
and
he's
it
gonna be
seems
in it.
like season 2 is wrapping up the Man in
I
Black
think
for
everybody
good.
was surprised he's in it though.
Yeah, that's true. So the next thing I got written down here is the Bernard loop theory. So like last night, I was gonna rewatch a bunch of the season today, and then I ended up doing theory stuff, so I didn't get a chance to do more. I watched the first 2. But
Wait, before you get into it,
Yeah.
So, I'm off next week.
oh okay, yeah, I
starting-
didn't know that. But
Starting
sure.
a week from today.
Yeah.
Someone's
So are we gonna do a podcast every day on Westworld leading up to?
No, but I thought, what if we watch like all fucking 9 episodes in a row?
Good. Or we could watch the entire series,
Jesus, I thought 9 was bad.
and we'll do a live stream of it. Comment down below if you would watch a live stream of us watching the entire series of Westworld.
So like 19 hours straight?
Yeah, and like we'll like do some fun games in it. Where like I'll put like a mousetrap on your taint or something.
How's that fun for me?
You'd be surprised. But so the Bernard loop theory that I was talking about before Nick started bringing up live streams and stuff. There's a theory out there that Bernard has been looped in the 2-week feature period that we see. He's been being looped this whole time, and they're trying to get Abernathy's thing out of him, which we kind of found out now. So I don't know if it's exactly that's what they're trying to get out of him or what. They're trying to get some information out of him, maybe about Ford. Who knows?
Yeah.
And there's some clues or evidence, I should say, that lead you to believe he is being looped
yeah.
in that first scene he's in. So the woman that gets shot, and then you see the one dude like, hey, you're gonna shoot a lady? That whole
Yeah.
scene, you see that happen twice. In that one scene.
So you just showed it to me. How many times did we watch the first episode?
Well, I've seen that first episode probably like 6 to 7 times now.
Jesus Christ.
Just because like stuff keeps popping up about it, and like I watched it 3 times when we did the first podcast because I watched it twice and then I watched it with you once.
Oh yeah, I remember because I said I watched it 1.5 because you yapped the whole time I watched it and I didn't really get through it.
Yeah, wait, what's your point?
I probably missed that. Is my point. No, but so yeah. So there's hosts on the beach. They're fucking just shooting them randomly, one by one, and Bernard looks back and they shoot the same lady again.
Yeah, they shoot the same lady again, and you see the guy standing to her right still.
There's no way that's an editing mistake.
Yeah, well, especially because they shot that from multiple different angles, and it would have been weird if like they were going to show it different ways earlier, you know?
Yeah, like you can't.
So that it's totally intentional.
Yeah, I mean you can't edit a show for HBO and accidentally put the same scene in twice from a different angle.
Yeah. Especially when like this episode is the one where they have a lot of Bernard like memory flashes and all. Like we see it fucking half the season in his memory flashes. They had stuff from not last week, the week before his episode in that first episode.
He was acting so weird originally. I thought it was Arnold.
Yeah, we had that theory going for a couple weeks until they.
I'm really disappointed that it's not.
Yeah, because we were like really getting into that.
Yeah, but now that we know it's not, I think he is being looped.
Yeah, I feel like that has to be some kind of because like I was kind of thinking about that like after last week's episode. I'm like we're getting to that. And I was like okay, they're gonna get to Valley Beyond, and I was like oh, there hasn't really been a big twist yet this season because like last year was episode 7. Oh, Bernard's a host, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like that has to.
Oh, Hess is right.
That either has to be
Fuck.
next week or the finale where they're gonna give us some big like holy. There hasn't been a holy shit moment yet. Other than, I guess, Ford being back. But even then, that wasn't, like, that major.
That was pretty holy shit.
But it wasn't major to the story,
No,
really.
no.
As they're walking up after the woman gets killed, Bernard, which people have talked about this since that episode, Bernard ends Carl Strand's sentence.
Mr. Lowe, good to see you. So the circumstances are less than ideal.
Yeah, which...
While they're talking, I don't remember the exact word, but, like, he does it, and they both kind of freeze for a second. They're like, oh, whoa.
That was, like, the first thing that hooked me on season 2.
I remember you texted about that, and I was like, no, I didn't catch that at all. And then we watched it probably like 47 times.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what that means. And we're like, it has to be in a loop. And then nothing else really have happened since then. Like, I probably would have kind of forgot about this theory if I didn't rewatch the episode last night.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about it. I just don't know how it helps. Like, what are they trying to find out? And
yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is they're trying to be like, where's Ford? Because, like, maybe he got out of your head and he's doing, I don't know. Like, it's something.
Did you mention the iPad?
No, I was getting to that next.
Okay.
So the Delos iPad, when they're looking, they scalp the Ghost Nation guy, take out his brain, and as they're looking at the information, you see Delores killing like fucking 50 Ghost Nation people. The iPad keeps going from dirty to clean to a little bit scratchy to there's like I think 3 different ways you see the iPad.
Yeah.
And I find that interesting too because that's also not a continuity problem that they usually do. Like usually everything like that is fine. It seemed very intentional. Like it's like oh they've done this 3 times by now.
Yeah, either that. It has to be.
I really
wanted
to. Like, I wish someone had this on YouTube.
Why don't you do it?
Is like take every one of those scenes because we've only seen like 4 or 5 of those scenes, and just stitch them all together with like however like the time period of it. Yeah. And I wonder if it would seem more loop-like.
See, I don't think it would
or
because they're only showing us. They're not showing us in a loop.
I'm trying to see. I was trying to see like. That's why I started rewatching them more. That's because I wanted to see all those scenes and see if there's any other, like, weird continuity problems that show in there, which I also remembered fucking... So right after all that happened, Bernard literally right after that, he wakes up in that barn and falls over and touches his scar on the side of his head that keeps disappearing and reappearing.
Yeah.
That I'm so confused now if that was on purpose or not.
Yeah, I don't know about that scar.
Because it was literally not in the future scenes and only in the past scenes. But now that we know there's not 2 Bernards, it really unless he switches bodies at some point or they heal, I don't know. But it's really that's what really stumps me about Bernard.
Do you think? I mean, I guess theoretically, there's 2 episodes left. He could go back in that other room if that body's failing him and get a new body. Like, what would that even prove?
Yeah, well, like, if they're gonna loop him, they might do that, and then maybe that's why Ford's not in. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they take him back there and they take his little fucking pea brain and throw it in there, and then they're like, all right, let's fucking walk him around the sand till we figure out what's going on. But, like...
I still don't get what they would get out of that other than maybe him phone Ford.
Who's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think they'll know he's in Bernard.
Yeah, and... Because, like, in that one scene when they're interrogating him, and like I commented that they said Ford... They mentioned, which they haven't mentioned it before, which because we've kind of thought that Ford's adamant at that point, but he says that his, I forget, he says like his brain or whatever, his memory is like constantly rebooting itself and like constantly like correcting itself or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it
It was
seems
sa-
like
I think
it
they
seems
said
like Ford's in there,
debugging,
like it
they said-
debugging itself. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like they're trying to like do stuff to Ford, like when they were do stuff to Bernard and they were waterboarding him, and Ford's like, okay, let's make this not happen. Like he's in there being like Felicity and shit, but it's not quite working as well.
Right.
But I don't know. I really hope in either it doesn't seem like we reveal next week because next week seems like it's mostly Man in Black, but like they will throw in some other things here and there. I really hope
Don't-
we get a lot more of these scenes.
Don't they show Bernard with a gun in the preview, or did I make that up?
I think they only show the Man in Black, his daughter, and his wife in the next one.
And Delores?
I'm not sure.
I saw that on Twitter. Maybe they didn't show it on.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, they did put a thing on Twitter with Delores shooting Ghost Nation people. So we
Yeah.
will see some other things. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping we do see a lot more of that.
I hope it's
that
like an hour
future
and a
area.
half long, too.
I know the finale is supposed to be 90 minutes. I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
I wish they did like a 5-hour finale
Jesus
just to make sure we get all the information.
I don't need that.
I can imagine what our podcast would be like after that. But all right, so we have one last theory. It's the special theory of the day. It comes from our boy Hess. And I'm not really sure what to think about this.
Can I just read his text?
Yeah, sure. I just wrote it down for no fucking reason. But
Ah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
read
no,
it. Go
sure,
ahead.
go.
No, go ahead.
No, read his text.
All right, so he couldn't work. He couldn't work, and I can't talk. That's the way it works.
Mm.
He couldn't be here today because he had to work. He was working late, and I asked him if he had any theories, and apparently he's texted me twice since we've been doing this podcast.
He said, hey, you doing the podcast right now?
I go, yeah, motherfucker, we are. So I said, do you have anything? And he said, only thing I was gonna bring up was about Delores. ... I think she dies and is replaced by Wyatt. And that's why she is referenced as the Deathbringer. So, I don't even know what to say to that. Because
I wish he was here to bring more. Would it be wrong to try to call him?
yeah, because he's at work.
Oh, he won't answer?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to text him real quick. You chit-chat about this. I'm going to text him and say, hey, we're doing the podcast. Can I call you real quick?
Okay, so here's the thing. She is Delores, she is Wyatt, and she already is the Deathbringer. That's just 3 names for her.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I literally don't know anything about that because, like, that's kind of just saying what the show's... I mean, she said in the first episode, she said, I'm not Delores, I'm not Wyatt. I'm just being myself. And I know she does refer to herself as Wyatt when she was doing bad things earlier, but...
This is the
It's
thing that Ford made up, and it's
Yeah.
the narrative. Yeah. So, and then Deathbringer is a new name for her from Ghost Nation because she brought death on to everybody, and then she's done it twice. Although I do like Deathbringer. That's a good name.
I do really like that they call her that. I hope they kind of continue.
Yeah, I mean, we could just call her Deathbringer from now on.
I guess, yeah. I thought that was really cool, especially when he's like, oh, the Deathbringer did whatever. And then Ford's like, okay, well, when the Deathbringer comes for me, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Call you Penis Bringer.
But while we're waiting for him to reply back, I did read this on Reddit, and I replied to the guy because I was kind of confused on what he meant. Cause, like, I didn't remember getting this information, and then he told me it's just a theory, so I was like, oh, go fuck yourself. I didn't
good.
tell him that. But he said, but it's about, we keep seeing the wolf and that horse and all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
So it said, I've seen a lot of people ask how and why Akichita was spared during the initial Arnold massacre. I kind of accidentally answered the question in reply to another thread. Figured I would write it out here. Dolores didn't see Akichita. She saw a wolf, and he didn't look like anything to her. And it says, this also explains how the Man in Black survived the massacre. They didn't see the Man in Black. They saw a vulture. That is all. So then I replied, I don't mean to sound dumb, but when and how did we get the information about the vulture and about the wolf? And he said, it's just a theory going around. My post is also just a theory, nothing more. And then people just started commenting more about that. But so, like,
I kind of get what
I get what they're saying, but I also think that's weird because, like, they did shoot the Man in Black once. Like, when they first get there at the party, at the massacre, he got shot in the shoulder once, and then after that fell down and all that.
Right, yeah. It would have to be that only Men in Black can't see him and he can't see the Men in Black.
Yeah.
It would have to be one specific, which the fact that he's basically lost for 9 years, I mean, I doubt they're going to program him not to see the Men in Black.
Yeah, okay, so I'm calling Hess, folks. We're going to ask him about his theory.
Bueno.
Oh, my God. All right, so, Hess, we're in the middle of doing the podcast, and we wanted you to explain your thing about Delores a little bit, because we were a little confused on it.
Okay, so basically what I think is that by whatever Aki or whatever they call him,
Akichita?
I believe that by him referring to Delores as the Deathbringer.
Yeah.
I believe that that it's not actually Delores, that it's Wyatt, and that Delores, gets killed, or I don't know, somehow turns into Wyatt or whatnot, and that it's actually the Deathbringer is Wyatt. Like,
but aren't they like
Delores
aren't they
or
the same
whatever.
person though?
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, I guess I'm saying maybe they're not the same person, or I don't know. It's fucking. And then when you ask me questions, it just makes me doubt myself even more.
Well, because Nick read it to me, and I was like, but Delores and Wyatt are the same person, and like.
But, that makes no sense to me. Like, is
Well,
it
it's
like
just
a split personality type thing?
Kinda. It's just another role that they gave her. It's like how Maeve was the mother, and then she became the whorehouse runner,
The madam.
madam,
But at least that's
Or
that's
whorehouse runner.
whatever.
So is Delores like a tranny?
No, it's just a name that they gave her.
Oh, okay.
Did he just ask Delores as a tranny?
He did, yeah. Well, while we got you on the line, do you have any other theories or things you wanted to say to the folks on the podcast?
I don't think so. I think that was about it. Other than I'm excited for Sunday, the next 2 Sundays. So.
Yeah, I am too. I'm looking forward to finding out more about the Man in Black and his wife, and hopefully, proof that he's not a host.
Well, I'm still holding on to that, so I'll hold on to it until we find out one way or the other. So I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna get off my the boat now. So
Yeah, you might as well stick to it now if you've done it this long.
For eight episodes. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the podcast, Hess.
Absolutely.
All right. See you later.
All right, later.
Yes, I'm glad we talked him out of his own theory. That it was really just a question about what happened in Westworld season 1 and beginning of 2.
Yeah. I don't know about him sometimes. I mean, so does he really?
He also admitted that he doesn't think the Man in Black is a host. I want to point that out. He said he's pretty sure he's wrong, but he's gonna stick with it.
Which almost makes me believe the Men in Black is a host.
Oh
because
my
if he
God.
Thinks, no, not really. But like, it's just funny that like when he texted me that, I was like, maybe I'm retarded. I don't understand.
No, he literally thought that they were
that
they were two different people.
Maybe they're. You know what my theory is? I think that.
Oh boy.
Why did you say that?
Well, because you're like, oh, I don't. And just go on. What?
I think Wyatt, the Deathbringer, and Delores
Are all different people
Yeah, I think they're triplets that were separated at birth.
separated in Ford's lab?
Yeah, birth, same shit. And they're gonna collaborate and kill everybody. I don't know. It's so stupid. They're all the same person.
So before we end this podcast, anything you want to say that you're looking forward to next episode? Anything that you hope happens in
Yeah.
the next episode?
Yeah. I want to see Clementine.
I do too. I'm hoping she's not dead. I feel like her death was so insignificant that she has to come back.
Yeah, me too. And I
But
think
like the only thing that like makes that kind of weird is that they were there operating on Maeve last episode, and like they were taking bodies, and like we didn't see her lying around. Like we didn't see anything to do with her.
don't you feel like she's too important to just okay.
She hasn't done much this season, but she was a major character last season.
She beat up a bunch of people this season.
Yeah,
She drug motherfuckers around.
with her 2 fingers.
She brought Bernard to the cave to find Elsie.
Yeah, that
which still,
most likely Ford in the Cradle was like, "Hey, get over there."
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's been too
He
much
had
things
to.
like mysteries around her, kind of like Stubbs. Where like he hasn't done shit this season, but I
Yeah.
feel like something big has to come for him. I feel the same for her.
I'm hoping Clementine is alive somehow. There's definitely shit that's either been cut out of the show or that they
future
haven't
scenes that we haven't seen
that
yet.
haven't seen yet that means she is alive.
Yeah.
Like there's the one is it on the next on or is it and then no, it could have been on the next on, but
Like,
she's like touching the glass. She's going like this.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, is she a ghost now? Like what the fuck? Maybe she's a host zombie.
Oh my god. Well, aren't they all kind of zombies?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, because like you brought up last week on Third Time with Pleeka about this, how like scenes might not be in it, and I showed that one scene of her. She's on a horse and running from, I guess, riding from Delos.
Yeah.
And it's I said that could have been a deleted scene from, I don't know, like episode 3 or whatever, when Charlotte Hale and Delos attacked Delores and took Abernathy.
Yeah.
Could have been a deleted scene from that, but I don't know. It looked too like significant of a thing, like they're on the way to the Valley Beyond or something.
There's that scene of her running away on a horse,
Mhm.
getting chased by buggies, which doesn't seem like that's gonna work well.
Yeah.
And then there's the scene where she's just kind of like, she's like going like this to the glass that I've seen. But then again, they showed the Men in Black stick a gun to his head, like fucking
Like 4 weeks in a row, and they showed it again. So I feel like it is gonna happen this week. We'll see what the fuck that's gonna
You
happen.
feel like this is the week?
Yeah, well, because like it was a major part of the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
Even though it has been the past like 3 weeks.
But that's another thing too, is like I've kind of been waiting for Stubbs to be like kind of like a hero or something.
Yeah.
At the end.
And then every week nothing happens.
Yeah, like, hey Bernard, we gotta go. And I was like, oh, cool,
when
this is it.
Yeah,
this
when
is
that
it.
started, I was like, oh sweet. Oh no, you're just gonna stand there
Yeah,
and
I
look at
mean-
him because he's a host.
Yeah, so like, I still think like he's gonna do something at the end, but I'm hoping. I don't think he's going to.
Mhm.
I'm hoping he is, because they feel like they've been shit on him all season.
Yeah. Do you think we'll find out next week if the Man in Black's wife really did kill herself the way he said, or like if there's like something else to it? Like, do you think there's something else to it, or do you think she just killed herself?
I think she just killed
'Cause she
herself,
was mad
and
at him.
I think everyone that watches it and read it made it into something else.
I feel like the same thing about him being a host.
Absolutely.
I feel like they never intended for people to theorize on him being a host this season.
No, I mean it's got to be hard to make a show. You know, you figure it's a fucking 12-hour show, maybe give
A
or
little more
take.
because some episodes are longer, but
That's what I mean. There's 10 episodes.
yeah.
So I was giving it
Oh,
some
okay.
leeway.
Yeah.
So you say 12-hour show. How are you gonna know? Like, oh yeah, they're gonna think Bernard is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are they gonna think? You know, I heard someone say that. It's something about the actors, like, with the way they like quiver or whatever when they're a host, or like they shake or whatever,
Mhm.
and that when the Men in Black was. When he's like, oh, you can't die here, like
Mhm.
his lip did that when he was,
Oh.
and I was like,
But he's
oh.
also like being drained of blood.
Yeah, and he's also, the whole point is that you're not supposed to be able to tell the difference between hosts and humans. So like,
Yeah, that's what I don't get either. Like everyone's like, "Oh, I think she's the host because he did this," like other hosts. But like,
the whole point is that you're not supposed to be able to tell the difference.
yeah, like Logan walked in that room. He thought he was in a room full of humans, and then he was in an entire room full of hosts.
Yeah, but I like the people that are like, yeah, he's so stupid. He thought that, you know, it's like,
Yeah, you've been watching this show for like 2 seasons now, so you got that.
yeah.
Yeah,
He hasn't been watching HBO
I don't think
every Sunday.
the
for
Man in
last-
Black hasn't done a single thing where I'm like, oh fuck, he's a host. There's just been things that because now I know that theory where I'm like,
That one time
oh
he
he got shot, so now
he
I
plugged
know
himself in that one time.
to charge overnight.
Yeah.
No, like when he healed himself, I was like, oh, people are gonna think he's a host now because he fucking healed himself. Like every time something like that happens, I only think, oh great, now people are gonna still talk about that. Like I thought it was really funny. I read on Reddit, someone's like, I can't wait for the season finale, and not because I'll find out what the Valley Beyond is and all that stuff. He's like, so I don't have to read another fucking theory about someone thinking the Man in Black is a host.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's been the most annoying theory for me because, like I said in the beginning of the show, I haven't seen any proof. So if anybody has proof, I ask you, comment it down below, and then maybe I'll see. But I haven't seen a single thing of proof.
Yeah, I mean, the proof they hang on to is that he got shot 4 times, but
In that he healed himself and that he knows. But like,
he grabbed his hat.
I'm still saying he grew facial hair. Show me another host that's grown facial hair, and then we'll talk.
Well, and regrew it because we did
Yeah.
see him shave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just they keep growing because usually, however the host is, they maintain it that way.
We could check all their pubes.
I think when we hit the pube note, that's where we end the show. So all right, everybody, thanks for watching Theory Time with Pleeka this week. We'll be back next Tuesday.
Thursday.
Wait.
Oh no,
next
we'll be back
Tuesday for another episode of Random Ramblings, where we talk about the latest episode of Westworld, and then the following Thursday for 3 Time in Pleeka, where we probably talk about the Man in Black for the whole episode again. So we'll see you guys then.
Man, you think he's a host now?
Probably will be.
That would be so creepy.